Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Surabhi Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 17th of July. Terrorists gunned down in encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. ICJ asks Pakistan to review Jadhav's conviction, allows consular access. And no clear roadmap for fair polls in Afghanistan, says election watchdogs. And now for all the details. A terrorist was gunned down by security forces in an encounter in Sopore town of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday. Police said the slain terrorist was identified as member of Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group.
Security forces on Wednesday gunned down a terrorist in an encounter in Sopore town of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. The encounter broke out after a cordon search operation was launched by security forces upon specific inputs about presence of terrorists in Gunbharat area in Sopore. As the search operation was underway, the hiding terrorists fired at the search party. In the ensuing gunfight, one terrorist was killed, police said. Meanwhile, search operations still continued in the area till the last reports came in. This comes 2 weeks after Indian security forces killed a terrorist belonging to Pakistan-based Hizbul Mujahideen outfit in a similar gunfight in Shopian district of the province. India has long blamed neighbouring Pakistan of aiding terrorists and using them as proxy to mount attacks on Indian soil. Pakistan, however, denies the allegations.
The death toll in an old multi-story building collapse in India's western Mumbai city rose to at least 14 on Wednesday. Rescue operations continues as several people were still feared trapped under debris of building which collapsed on Tuesday.
The death toll in the collapse of decades-old 4-story building in India's western Mumbai city rose to 14 on Wednesday. Rescue operations were being carried out manually as the building lies in a maze of congested lanes, making it difficult for the fire tenders and excavators to approach the site. Earth movers and workers were seen clearing the debris in the area. Between 10 to 15 families lived in the building and they were trapped under the debris, with rescue operations underway after the building collapsed in Mumbai's congested Dongri area on Tuesday.
स्टेटस टोटल 23 का है मैम, जिसमें 14 डेड और 9 लाइव हैं। बाकी हमारी 3 टीमें रोटेशन बेस पे काम कर रही हैं। कल से जब से 1 बजे से टीम आई है, कंटिन्यू हमारा ऑपरेशन चल रहा है और जब तक लास्ट यहाँ पे नहीं निकलेगा विक्टिम, तब तक हमारी टीम काम करेगी।
Maharashtra's Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis announced ex gratia of over $7.6 thousand to the kin of the deceased and $726 for the injured in the incident. It was the second building collapse in Mumbai in 10 days as monsoon rain slashed the city.
The International Court of Justice at The Hague on Wednesday delivered its verdict in the case of Indian national Kulbhushan Jadhav. The ICJ ruled in favor of India and ordered consular access to Jadhav. The court has directed Pakistan to provide effective review and reconsideration of his conviction and sentences. The court has, however, rejected India's request, including annulment of military court decision convicting Jadhav, his release and safe passage to India. Kulbhushan Jadhav was sentenced to death in 2017 by a Pakistani military court on charges of terrorism and spying, an allegation denied by India. India claims Jadhav, a businessman, was abducted from Iran, illegally brought to Pakistan and sentenced under a sham trial. In news from Pakistan, Pakistani authorities on Wednesday arrested Hafiz Saeed, the 2008 Mumbai attacks mastermind, on terror financing charges. The arrest came days before a visit to Washington by Prime Minister Imran Khan, who has vowed to crack down on terror groups operating in Pakistan. Saeed, a UN-designated terrorist, is the founder of Lashkar-e-Taiba, the militant group blamed by the United States and India for the Mumbai attacks, which killed 166 people, including 6 Americans. Hafiz Saeed has been earlier freed by Pakistani courts after being detained at his home several times in the past. Moving on, Pensioners in illegally occupied region of Gilgit-Baltistan recently held a protest after they were denied their pensions and were asked to open bank accounts for collecting their pension online. The senior citizens expressed that it was difficult for them to run from pillar to post at this age. Pensioners in Gilgit-Baltistan recently sat in protest outside a bank after they were denied disbursement of their pensions manually. The pensioners, who had worked for the government for decades, have been collecting their pension manually. They alleged that the National Bank stopped paying pensions manually and asked them to open bank accounts to start e-filing of the pension. The pensioners, who are senior citizens, expressed that it was difficult for them to run from pillar to post at this age. Some blamed the authorities of making the last days of their lives difficult.
और ये अभी कह रहे हैं बैंक में अकाउंट खोलो, तो जबकि 20 साल से ही पहले दे रहे हैं पेंशन, और आज यहाँ पर किसी को भी नहीं पेंशन दे के तमाम मर्द औरतें सब जुलूस की शक्ल में सड़क के ऊपर बैठे हैं। एक तो हम खुद भी बीमार हैं, मुझसे खड़ा भी हुआ नहीं जाता, जब भी मजबूरी बैठे हैं इधर।
जमा पेंशन के लिए आए हैं 1984 से लेकर अभी तक हम यहाँ इस बैंक से ले रहे हैं। अब कहते हैं कि अकाउंट खोलो बैंक में, हम कहाँ जाएंगे? 15-20 हज़ार रुपये तनख्वाह या पेंशन है, उसमें अकाउंट खोलेंगे नहीं, आप अपने बच्चों के लिए खर्च करेंगे।
The pensioner said that since the authorities already have their records, they should open bank accounts on their behalf rather than forcing them to shift to a new system. This is not the first time that authorities have not bothered to take the consent of the locals. Ever since Gilgit-Baltistan, a part of erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir province of India, was illegally annexed by Pakistan, the corrupt administration has forced locals to fend for themselves. In news from Afghanistan, with reports indicating that civilian casualties have sharply increased in recent months, General Scott Miller, the top US commander in Afghanistan, expressed his concerns on the issue. He said that both the Afghan and foreign forces are maintaining precision in their operations against militants.
Top US commander in Afghanistan, General Scott Miller, has expressed his concerns over the civilian casualties in Afghanistan. He said that civilian casualties in the Afghan conflict are worrying, but added that the Afghan and foreign forces are maintaining precision in their operations against militants. Miller made the remarks during a visit to the western province of Herat on Tuesday, where he was accompanied by Afghanistan's Deputy Interior Minister for Security, General Khoshal Sadat, and Deputy Defense Minister General Yasin Zia.
Afghan security force side and the coalition side.
طرف نیروهای امنیتی افغان و طرف ائتلاف به گونه بسیار دقیق می‌خواهیم تا از وارد شدن تلفات به غیر نظامیان جلوگیری نماییم. ما دقت را در عملیات‌هایمان می‌خواهیم و هنگامی که دقت در نظر گرفته نشود افراد را حسابدهی قرار می‌دهیم.
According to a latest report by Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission or AIHRC, 596 civilians were killed and 1,892 others were wounded in clashes between government forces and the Taliban and other attacks by militants in Afghanistan since March 21, 2019. General Zia blamed the Taliban for most of the civilian casualties. Meanwhile, the Pentagon in a new report has warned that a robust counter-terrorism capability must remain in Afghanistan against groups including Al-Qaeda, even if a peace deal with the Taliban is secured. The Pentagon's assessment coincides with recent comments made by the US Special Peace Envoy, Zalmay Khalilzad, who touted recent progress made during peace negotiations this month in Doha.
A new study by 2 election watchdogs has said that the Independent Election Commission, the Afghan government and their international partners do not have a clear roadmap for peace and elections in the country. The study raises concerns regarding issues including voter registration, fake identity cards and the use of the biometric system. A new study by 2 electoral monitoring organizations has shown that the Independent Election Commission, the Afghan government and their international partners do not have a clear roadmap for peace and elections in the war-torn country. The study questions the government's will and ability to ensure transparency and inclusiveness during the presidential polls. The electoral watchdogs have criticized the poll body for failing to address concerns regarding voter registration, fake identity cards and the use of the biometric technology for voter verification.
آقای سال یا انتخابات ما یک نقشه راه نیاز داریم با مغالطه‌گویی و با ابهام نمیشه که ما بریم به طرف انتخابات یک پروسه طولانی نیست که شما برای یک دو سال برای کار بکنید.
هیچ ارگان آماده حمایت نظارت و شفافیت از پروسه انتخابات پیشرو نیست. نه جامعه جهانی، نه حکومت و نه نهادهایی که باید کار کنند.
This comes as Chief Executive Abdullah on Monday warned that the upcoming presidential elections should lead the country towards stability, not a crisis, as he stressed on transparency in the electoral process. Abdullah warned that the country will fall into an unbearable tragedy if the problems of 2014 presidential elections were repeated in the upcoming polls scheduled for September 28th. Heavy rainfall and floods have thrown life out of gear in India's northeastern Assam province, affecting millions of people. The government has assured of all possible help from the centre and stressed on the urgent need for long-term measures to tackle floods.
Heavy rains and floods have thrown life out of gear in India's northeastern Assam province. Floodwaters have submerged all the 33 districts of Assam, with over 40 lakh people affected. Due to the floodwaters, road connectivity to various districts have also been snapped. The main river Brahmaputra that flows through Guwahati city in Assam crossed danger mark on Monday.
अभी तक कल सुबह था 51.16 cm था कल सुबह 6 बजे शाम को 6 बजे आया 23 ये बार गया है 7 सेंटीमीटर कल सारा दिन में 7 सेंटीमीटर पानी उठा था बढ़ा गया उसके बाद आज सुबह देखा है 6 बजे से 51.19 cm ऐसे देखा है कि 60 सेंटीमीटर कमती हो गया कल शाम से अभी तक.
About 70% of the Kaziranga National Park, the habitat of the great Indian rhino and a World Heritage Site, has also been affected, forcing animals to seek shelter on higher ground, including human settlements. Comprehensive discussions on the flood scenario, damage and relief and rescue operations were held by the authorities. The government has assured all possible help from the centre and stressed on the urgent need for long-term measures to tackle floods.
Scores of Hindus bathed in holy rivers across India to wash off the effects of the lunar eclipse on Wednesday. It is believed that celestial bodies like the sun and the moon emit negative energies during an eclipse.
Thousands of devout Hindus bathed in holy rivers across India to wash off the effects of the lunar eclipse on Wednesday. Devotees thronged Ganges River in the temple town of Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh province, as a common Hindu belief says that a holy dip washes away the negative effects of the eclipse. It is believed that celestial bodies like the sun and the moon emit negative energies during an eclipse.
दान पुण्य करते हैं, पूजा पाठ करते हैं, कोई भी ग्रह दूर होता है, संकट दूर होता है.
Similar scenes were witnessed at the banks of the Saryu River in Ayodhya, in India's Uttar Pradesh province. In India, the partial lunar eclipse was visible during early hours of July 17. The moon entered Umbra at 1:30 am local time, and the maximum effects of partial lunar eclipse was visible around 3 am.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now, viewers can watch the show on southasianewsline.com. You can also visit us on facebook.com/SAsia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.